Hello, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, delegates, good morning. It is really, really lovely to see you and welcome to the EU Agri-Food Days 2025. What a pleasure to be here. My name is Sasha Twining. I have the honour of being your host here for the next 3 days. Basically, it is my job to ensure that you get everything that you need out of your time here. So thank you for joining us here in the room. Thank you very much for joining us online. It is lovely to see you online. Delegates in the room, you may not know that we have literally hundreds of people registered and with us now online from right across Europe. So thank you very much wherever you are joining us from. And it's not just where you are joining us from, it is the different part of the sector and the industry that you are representing and joining us from. This is the place to meet, to discuss, to debate, to look at the challenges that there are in the sector and to find opportunities. And I hope that you will agree, it's when that we all come together, that's when we can capitalize on those opportunities and look to the future for a sustainable, secure, affordable, thriving industry. And that is what we are all here to do. So actually, before I go any further, let me just find out in the room who we have here. So I promise that we have every stakeholder. So raise your hand for me if you regard yourself, first of all, as a farmer. Welcome. Welcome. For those who are watching us online, we have a good number of hands. And there is a gentleman down here who couldn't put his hand up any higher if he tried. If you represent farmers or farming communities, hands up, lovely. If you regard, lots of people over this side, if you regard yourself as a producer as well, or a manufacturer, lovely. What about if you work with machinery? Lovely, welcome. What about, I love it when the hands go up and everyone turns around to see. What about if you work in tech or innovation? You're part of the digital world. Wonderful, welcome. What about if you are research, academia? Oh, wow. There's a big contingent of research over there. I will be looking in your direction. And finally, I don't think I probably have missed quite a lot of people, but let's ask about policy. Yes, there we go. Absolutely. Lots of hands up in the room, and I'm sure wherever you are watching us online, I hope you are raising your hand as well, whatever different parts of the sector of the value chain that you feel that you represent. Now, we are all here to discuss and to bring different opinions together. We are translating, we're interpreting into 24 different languages. Those in the room, you have the sets in front of you. For those who will be joining us on stage, we also have sets here. So it is perfectly fine to use whatever language you feel most comfortable in. If you're watching us online, we also have interpretation for you as well. Feel free to use it. We'll be talking about social media as we go through. There are lots of different ways that we have of sharing all the different opinions and examples that we have here. And I'll take you through how you can ask questions as we go throughout the day. But I do feel it is now time to officially get started. So, dear delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to introduce our opening speaker, the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen.
Commissioner Hansen, dear Christophe, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin these Agri-Food Days with the words of a young European farmer sharing what drives him. He said, "Farming is the place to be if you really want to have an impact." And these words are so true. Our farmers and fishers are not just important for Europe, you are indispensable Our agri-food sector is the backbone of Europe's independence. You put high-quality food on our tables. You guarantee food security for the European Union's 450 million citizens. You create jobs and opportunities in rural areas. And you make a real impact for Europeans each and every day. This is why we are launching a Buy European Food campaign to provide greater support for your vital industry. We all know that you are facing strong headwinds, from tariffs to higher production costs or the growing impact of extreme weather conditions. In times of uncertainty, your sector needs reliability and support. You need to know that in Europe, farmers and fishers can thrive. And let me focus on 4 ways we are making this happen. First, simplification. 1 year ago, we announced the Omnibus package because you need less paperwork and more trust. Our proposal can save nearly 1.6 billion euro for farmers every year, and I'm confident that you will see the changes in time and money saved. My second point is about the young generation of farmers. They bring energy and innovation to the sector, but starting a farm must be simpler and more attractive for young people. And that is why we have launched a new strategy for generational renewal, which includes, for example, a starter pack for young farmers with up to 300,000 euros to kick off the business. Young farmers will not only feed our citizens, they will bring fresh ideas while carrying traditions into the future. We will support them in any possible way. And my third point, we must preserve and grow your access to global markets. Our extensive network of trade deals across the world creates valuable opportunities for you to sell your products. And this is why we are concluding a series of new trade deals to create even more. And as always, ensure all necessary protections and safeguards. Safeguards that ensure a level playing field and protect food safety standards. And if needed, we can limit the inflow of the most sensitive products. We will open new markets, and we will always protect our farmers. And finally, let me assure you that agriculture will be at the heart of our next budget. Not only are we setting a minimum envelope for farmers and fishers' income support, member states and regions will have the power and the flexibility to give further support to rural areas, so that support can go where it is needed most. And you have what you need to protect your livelihoods and guarantee our food security and standards. I want to thank you all for the vital work you do and wish you a successful few days.
Thank you, President von der Leyen. So you can see the importance of all the different challenges that we are here to discuss, but the opportunities as well. During the next 3 days, we will work through those challenges. We will sort of structure the days so that at different points we focus on different areas. So you will see as we go through that we try and touch every base of every challenge and indeed every opportunity. And there will be ample opportunities as we go through to talk about what is really important to you. Today is ensuring food security for the future. Arguably, that theme will come across everything we talk about over the 3 days. But we thought we would start with an overall context and to look at policies and the implementation of policies and how that filters down. So delegates, please join me in welcoming our next guest on stage to talk about his vision and his ideas for the future. Please welcome the Commissioner for Agriculture and Food, Commissioner Christophe Hansen. It's really lovely to see you.
Good to see you too.
How does it feel to be?
It's amazing. The room is full,
Yes.
fully packed, and apparently we have over 6,000 people as well connected online. So thank you very much for your interest in this event.
It's wonderful to see and to know that they are all there. Let's get straight into the heart of it. You've just heard the President's words. What was going through your mind as you listened to her? What are the important bits? Well, it's all important, I'm sure, but what are the bits that you want to pick out?
Well, I think she addressed many of the problems, but as well of the opportunities. She mentioned very clearly the importance of food security and as well the broader security that is generated by the farming sector, because farmers not only provide safe and sufficient food, they also provide energy, many of them, and as well we have many rural areas at our external borders. So I think this role of security is very important, but we need as well to speak about the opportunities, and there lies a lot in the exchange with international partners, where we need to resolve issues on the input side, but as well on the output side, let's say on what we are selling to the world. So that is why it's very important when we speak as well about the international opportunities, but as well a better opportunity inside the internal market with the Buy European Food initiative and more promotion budget. There is a lot in for the sector to get, again, better prices as well domestically. And I think these are opportunities we need to seize. Challenges of generational renewal, the geopolitical context, but there we can do some work on our side. Other work needs to be done on the diplomatic side as well.
Yeah, it's not like you have an easy task, really, is it? You've listed absolutely everything. So you are now a year in. You've had your first full year, that's right?
The first full year is done, indeed. And indeed, it was a year as well marked by dialogue. And I think this dialogue is very crucial and important when you want to design the future of the common agriculture policy. You cannot just do it by sitting up there in the Berlaymont in your office. You need to go to the field, and that is why I committed as well in the beginning of my mandate to go to all the member states. I was in at least once in every member state. I was not in all the capitals, because that's, again, not where the farmers are. You need to go as well to the ground, to the field, to the farms themselves, because there often you hear different voices that are resonating from the capitals or from the politicians we usually meet.
Of course, and we talk about that all the time, don't we? That actually you have to go and see how things are at grassroots, quite literally. So you went to all member states. You were in Italy last week?
That was indeed last week,
That
yes.
was last week. Who do we have in the room from Italy? Fabulous. Look at that. Yep, a good show of hands. What were you doing in Italy?
Well, I was mainly there for an event on our geographical indications. You know that farmers and food producers that produce under the geographical indications often get more than double of the price for their product for similar competitors in the economy. So I think that is very important as well to raise the visibility of the geographical indications. Italy is the European champion, followed by France, Spain, Portugal, and others are catching up, but we see that there are still room for maneuver. So we announced as well the GI action plan that we want to launch now over the next year. I think this is very important to better promote, and this is completely in line with the Buy European Food initiative launched. So I visited the Parmigiano Reggiano production, for example, but as well olive oil producers and wine producers. So there is a lot in for many sectors. And this quality that is, let's say, characteristic for the European production, that is the best-selling argument, and that we need to make more visible again as well to the consumers.
It's interesting. You mentioned Parmigiano. Did you have some?
Of course, I had some.
Of course. Silly question from me. Of course, you had some, and I'm sure you had some Italian wine as well.
Yes, the wine goes very well with, and I discovered this as well. The balsamico on the cheese, that's amazing as well. I have to say.
Okay, did you? You certainly have agreement in the room. We hear a lot about
the challenge. Yeah. It is, of course, with all this good food I tasted in 27 member states, is not to need to change the suits. So that's a little bit, the balance is not easy to keep it.
Yeah, I'm so tempted to ask you what your favourite was, but I think that would be so unfair. But just going back to Parmigiano and Italy, because we talk a lot about generational renewal, and there's a very interesting little nuance with the age of farmers working in Italy and actually in Parmigiano as well.
Exactly. When you look at the dairy producers or the farmers' age, average age in Italy, it's 58 years of age. When you look at the dairy farmers under the Parmigiano-Reggiano Consortio, they are 52 years of age. And they have as well launched a special program for the mountain dairy producers under Parmigiano-Reggiano. And there the age is of 42 years of age. So this was really astonishing how the geographical indication is something that is firstly attracting, because people are proud to produce their milk for the Parmigiano-Reggiano, which is, let's say, it is a global brand. Meanwhile, it is as well the status of a quality production, of territoriality, and this attracts, again, many young farmers, and I think this was an astonishing but an amazing example of how the geographical indication can as well entice young people to enter the sector.
It is really interesting, and I tell you what, when we have more people on stage, we'll dive more into that generational renewal and actually how you can capitalise on what different products might be able to do to help that. Any other countries you want to mention, just very quickly?
Well, all of them are amazing. They are so diverse, and I never had bad food, I can tell you.
Okay. I hope you won't be offended at me saying that is a typical politician's answer. Very well delivered.
I'm coming from a farm myself, and I was always told you need to eat everything that comes to the table. That's what I did. And I'm still here, and I'm quite in good shape.
Brilliant, brilliant. So you're in good shape to talk then. You've got the farmers on side. Let's talk policies. Let's talk about the CAP. And I mean, there is so much talk there. There is I'm not going to say it dominates, but in conversations there will always be an aspect of the CAP that comes up. What do you think it will mean for farmers and those working in the sector? How do you view it? How are you working with it?
Well, of course, the Common Agriculture Policy has made its proof over the last decades, and we are coming from a moment in time where we were not self-sufficient in our agriculture production, where people were starving all around Europe, and I think that is something where the Common Agriculture Policy brought added value. It was a little bit contested by some in the beginning that investing this money to support the sector that was not well invested, some people argued, but I always say it's not the CAP that costs too much, it would be its absence that would be way more expensive, and I think that is something where we need to acknowledge again. We need to have sufficient food production and the quality that we want as well on the European continent, because we know and we see very clearly that this food security and food sovereignty is challenged as well at the geopolitical level, and that is why we need to come back, but we need as well to change a little bit our point of view that maybe we had over the last years, because a farmer in the end is an entrepreneur, and the farmer wants to live from the production of the business model in the end, and I think these elements of competitiveness and productivity have a little bit too much been neglected over the last years. So we launched now a lot of initiatives to change this. We were actually the first so-called omnibus simplification package that arrived, not only departed, but as well arrived to the final station. So we have approved this, and this will be felt as from next year by our farming community, and this is a substantial relief when it comes to the administrative burden. We have also delivered on the Unfair Trading Practices Directive, because we see that in the value chain, not always the price comes as fairly to the producer as it should be. We have delivered a package on to support the wine sector, which is under pressure as well for climatic reasons, but as well for geopolitical reasons. So a lot has already been done, and that needs, I think, to be acknowledged. But the challenges remain huge. We have the geopolitical tensions, which have an impact, for example, on our energy costs, have an impact on our fertilizer products. That needs to be addressed quickly, because farmers have this as input costs, and if there is a substantial raise, then of course this makes their production again non-competitive, and I think that is something we need to work on. Generation renewal, I mentioned it, we have presented a strategy. This is not a one shot. This is really a strategy with various initiatives taken at European level, but as well at national and regional level. I think that is very important to say, that it is a shared responsibility, and this cannot just be done out of Brussels. This needs to be done with strong cooperations and initiatives at the different levels there.
I mean, there's so much to talk about there, and we will get into more detail, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're suggesting that actually farmers at the heart of this, you have to look at them as, they're entrepreneurs, yeah, and they are supported, and then that will then feed into everything else that we all need to do to get towards that secure, resilient, sustainable sector. Just very quickly before we fill the other chairs on stage and bring more people on, what would you like to get out of these next 3 days? You've got everyone together, both in the room and online. What's your message? What would you like to see coming out of this?
I would like to see a clear direction and a cooperation when it comes to more sustainability of and more resilience of the farming and food producing sector. This is a resilience that is coming, and when we speak about attractiveness, this is not just the money. It needs as well to be on a social point of view attractive, meaning that there needs to be as well sufficient services for the farmers, because farmers don't, they love their job, of course, but they need as well some free time, some work-life balance. I think that is very important as well, because farmers, female or male, they want to have a family as well. This needs to be going together, so we need to work on that part as well. And then, of course, it needs as well to be environmentally sustainable, because we are dealing with water scarcity, quality of soils. This needs to be preserved if we are serious as well about our food production and food security for the future. So this triangle, we need to fill it with life and initiatives to move towards this sustainability on the 3 dimensions of sustainability.
That's exactly then where we will start. And that is hopefully what we will get to as well. Ladies and gentlemen, delegates, Commissioner Hansen, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.